Previously. Oh, and now it's summoning fuckers to punch me. Ugh. And he's ugly! So, you're the corrupted Zero's been watching. And he sounds more high-pitched than me! You know, you really shouldn't be starting fights with people you don't know, Corrupted. You literally came out the rift and randomly punched me, you Kamen Rider from Walmart. I'm a Power Ranger. Oh, you're a Power Ranger from Walmart. I care so much about that. You know, I was just gonna test you in a fight, but now it seems to need to show you how to be respectful. And someone needs to teach you how not to be Will Smith. Now. Oh yay. He broke the mask of illusion. Either he knew about its effects, or he just felt like punching me. Either one aren't out the question, but either way, it seems that I need to fight him if I want to get any answers to his presence here. Don't think waving your finger's gonna help you. It won't, but waving fire at you will. Take this! Wait, how did he... Huh? Wait a minute. Isn't that the corpse I found? And now that I get a better look at it, why does he look like me? You know what? I can just ask him this later. I have a video to get to. Hello there, people. Crazy Flame here. And today, we are here to finally talk about Divinez. Well, the first 2 seasons anyway. The deluxe arc is gonna be its own thing. Anyway, let's get some things out the way first. Firstly, there will be spoilers to Season 1 and Season 2. And I will be going into this video under the impression that you have already watched Season 1 and Season 2. If you haven't, and you care about the spoilers, then I recommend you go watch it. It's on YouTube right now. And hopefully I'll remember to put a link in the description. Anyway, with all that out the way, let's get into the review. Given the fact that this just got off of the heels of Wildress, my expectations weren't the highest. Wildress after its 3 seasons were okay for the most part. So this really didn't have to do much to impress me, but Divinez kinda blew my expectations out the water with the first season. The cast is very likable and has some honestly funny moments.
Is that a Faded One card?
This could not go any worse!
No, what?
Is that a plushie? It can talk and fly?
And I'm coming to a toy store near you.
Whoa! Look at it go! Well, I might have to give up my dream of going pro!
What? Then you're in real trouble!
I sure am! Miss Now's bank account's in trouble, and her grades at school are in trouble! I'm a real troublemaker!
Need. Any chance of a bite?
No.
You're something else.
It's even funnier in the sub. Anyway, back on track. Divinez Season 1 had one of the better filler episodes, with now having to fight that hero pro guy from Wildress. Not only we actually get to see this guy have an on-screen fight, it also fits well with Now's goal of becoming a pro, and her continuing it after the Faded Clash. Overall, it's a nice way of taking a break from the Faded Clash for a bit. And speaking of pro guys that didn't really get to shine in Wildress, Taizo, he was 10 times better in here than in Wildress. Yes, I calculated it. I'm not showing my work. You can't make me. In Divinez, Taizo is much more represented as an actual threat. Firstly, he actually won a fight, which is already a big enough achievement for him. Not only that, he helped Makoto realize that it doesn't take divine intervention to tell the haters to fuck off. Also, Akina believed that he couldn't beat Taizo through conventional means, so he had to make his entire deck fully offensive. No heals, no sentinels, just front fronts, crits, and balls to the walls. And it actually worked because Taizo, with his experience, believed that Akina had a PG left and he still had the miracle on hand, which didn't make Taizo finish him on that turn, which then shows that Taizo truly is a pro for actually analyzing the situation like that. Not only that, it's cool that Akina actually changed his deck for this fight and actually experimented with different strategies. It's a cool way of taking advantage of the fact that they have downtime in between each matches to properly prepare for their opponent. Also, they handled the plot twist of there being a future Ikari really well, because the mask guy overall just seemed very hyperfixated on Akina and Suo, I guess, but mostly Akina, and specifically reached out to Taizo, someone Ikari admired a lot, and her backstory was a real tearjerker. Well, metaphorically, I didn't cry or anything. Honestly, I don't have that many bad things to say about season 1. It was fairly paced, and all the characters felt like they got an equal opportunity to shine. But I can't exactly say the same about season 2. Don't get me wrong, season 2 wasn't bad or anything. If anything, it was just like a slight downgrade to season 1, but it has more glaring issues with it than season 1. Firstly, it felt kind of rushed given the fact that we just had back-to-back clash fights, which isn't inherently bad, but it kind of means we get less time with the destined ones, which kind of sucks because when they lose, they just get sidelined basically. You don't interact with the destined ones or the faded ones until like near the end. Speaking of the destined ones, let's talk about Kwon. Kwon did way less than I expected in this season. Like, he was promoted as Akina's big rival, but not only he was Suo's rival, he was the least interesting of the destined ones. Sure, it was implied that he was Suo's childhood friend, and while I understand why this confirmation was near the end of the season, it still doesn't leave Kwon with much. Like, you can argue he united the destined ones, but to me at least, it didn't feel like they were united so much as the show telling me they were united. Like, whenever Kwon talks to the destined ones, like, aside from Ikari, Kwon doesn't feel like they had that much of an effect on them, if that makes sense. Like, where I want most of his interactions, like with Ikari, where like, Kwon helped steel her resolve for a wish. The other destined ones kind of just brushed them off. Hell, Kwon didn't even talk to Jinky before his match. And again, it doesn't help if they don't interact with each other after they lose. And in the finale, they kind of expect you to believe that they're united when they haven't really done the best job in showing that. Like, they could have had interactions like after they lost, like Kyoma and Yuna could have like talked to each other or something. Wow, this spiraled into a rant about the destined ones. Well, I pretty much said all my problems about Kwon anyway, so But I guess those problems wouldn't be as big of a deal if it went for the final few episodes of the season. So let's get into that. The final few episodes threw a bunch of stuff at the audience without any good setup. Well, it did make sense when they explained it. I feel like you could have like dropped a few hints instead of just straight up info dumping. Like, sure, you can argue the future Ikari twist on last season kind of info dumped, but at the very least, they dropped a few hints that Mask Guy could have been a future Ikari. Here, we are just now knowing that that keychain now had was not just a keychain. It apparently now was involved with that incident that gave Ikari her disease. I feel like they just really are just trying to justify why in universe Sybil decided to possess Now of all people when there are arguably more sensible options. There was future Ikari, someone Sybil was already possessing, Cologne, someone who was still under mental pollution. Hell, why didn't Sybil just use the design force to create their own body? And that Clone Pod could have at least made Clone somewhat live up to his advertising. And even then, Sybil didn't do much after possessing Now, to be honest. Like, they tried to mentally pollute Akina, failed, challenged Akina to a fight, then beat Cologne in a fight, then Akina beat them. It feels like very little when they basically sidelined Sybil for most of the season. And we only get to hear about their backstory after they got beaten. And it's not even that complete. Like, what about Spirod's death made you think all living things need to be selfish? Anyways, my point is that Sybil should have done more while they were on screen, or overall just had more screen time of them being active. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this may sound a bit extreme, but after watching season 3, it just feels like Sibel was just there to set up the plot points there, and that's it. For me, Sibel only feels memorable because of Sibel Now, and that's just mainly because of their design. Well, before I start getting into another rant, I guess I should stop myself there. And overall, that's kind of my main qualms for the finale. Sibel was just there for setup for next season, and it just tried culminating stuff that it didn't even build. And the sad part is, I think the rest of the season was pretty good. The characters were interesting like last season, the faded ones showed their development, not to mention the faded ones had good chemistry. And after the finale, we actually had a pretty good ending. And while the finale didn't stop me from enjoying the season, it still kind of crippled it in my opinion, which stops me from saying it's season 1 level. But overall, these first 2 seasons were ultimately pretty good. I'll eventually make a review on season 3 and 4, but no guarantees that it will be soon. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Later. Anyways, I guess it's about time I check in on that weird looking Power Ranger. These rips are getting more and more annoying. What happened to my hoodie? Hey, 5, want me to call the ambulance for you? Shut up, Zero. Wow, way to talk to the guy who saved you from whatever that snapshot of us was gonna do. Well, he didn't kill me, and he just seemed like he was gonna ask me some questions. Yet, we have no knowledge on his interrogation skills. For all you know, he could have hung you over the fire until you talked. Well, given what you told me about him, he's not that violent. Not to mention, why are you being so reluctant to tell him stuff? If they find out about that pocket dimension and figure out his powers, he's either dead or even worse, used against us. Oh, and here I thought you hit it all corrupted. He is clearly a special case that needs to be on our side before he's on theirs. Alright, you have a point. But he's a bit of a liability. After all, he didn't restrain you, he just started talking to himself for 10 minutes. Not to mention, he hasn't really been trying to put together why he was even sent to that pocket dimension with that dot cube, which I guess I can't completely put that on him. After all, you're the one who decided to tell him that he was sent there for not liking mac and cheese. I was hoping that would force you to tell them the truth instead of sending him on a wild goose chase that he's not only not interested in, but with no real clues. You know what? Fair enough. The next time I check up on him, if he still hasn't made that much progress, I'll just go out and tell him the truth. That's all I want to hear. Anyways, I'm gonna go rest up and further look into how he disabled my transformation. Alright, but it better be in that order, because I have questions for you after your little rest up. Of course you do.